Imagine 20% of your annual income from last year. Just think of your last year annual income and imagine 20% of that back in your bank account. You see, if you know how to save and you actually understand the laws of saving, which go all the way back to the ancient Babylonian, if you learn that, you can be 10, 20, 30% richer. And if you understand compounding effect, which Warren Buffett said is the greatest invention of the last millions and millions of years and is the thing that made him rich, if you understand that, it might be more like 10,000% richer than you are in just a few short years. I'm Jake Ducey from JakeDucey.com, and in this video I'm going to teach you how I save and how you can start right now to double, triple, quadruple, 10x your own wealth, your own freedom of choices in life, and your own sense of security so that you can go out and live the life you truly want without worrying about worldly things and getting stuck on money. You can create the life you want simply with saving. Step number one to keep in mind is that you have to know your own values. See, if I were to tell you I was going to take 10, 20% of your income and put it away, but I didn't tell you what it was for, you wouldn't ever do it. You see, we're psychological creatures that have reward motivation based in our mind. So when there's a reward that we deem that's actually worthwhile, we tend to perform better. We tend to be more productive. So my question to you is, if you had 10, 20, 30% more money than you do right now in your bank account, what are your highest values? See, I could tell you mine. Right now, I'm saving almost 50% of my income, which, by the way, Sir John Templeton, one of the most famous investors ever, started his career by saving 50% of his income. But I know what my highest values are right now, what I want to use money for. I want my fiance and I to be able to get our dream house. I want to be able to put more money into residential and commercial investment properties. I want to put more money into the market. I want to put more money into my business. I want to be able to put more money away so that I can go travel, so that I can do fun things. And then I want a level of security so I don't worry if there's a slow month, if something happens. That's what I want more money for. So now it makes sense to me. Okay, easy. I know what I'm saving for. So my question to you is travel high on your value list? If it is, you might want to start a travel savings account. If buying a home is valuable, you might want to start an account for that. If becoming a real estate investor or a stock market investor or having a retirement account or adding more money to that retirement account or being able to contribute to your favorite charities or to have the capital in order to build your dream business or to help others or to put your children through school or to start to put an account away for someone, whatever it is, think of what you would do with the money. And think of 2 or 3 of those. And those are going to be your initial savings accounts that you're going to use. So if you don't know your core values, if you don't know what motivates you, then you have no psychological incentive in order to create more money. Subconsciously, you'll see no point in creating money if you don't know why. So my first question to you is, why? What are you going to do? And then it starts to get exciting. Number 2, for beginning to save, break things into percentages. So I'll speak for myself. I have 10% of all the income that I earn every single month goes into a travel account. I have about 30%, a little more than that. It's about 35% of every dollar that I make goes to buying my first home, and also to making my first real estate investment property. The third thing that I have money for is I have a business financial security account where basically it's a psychological account that I don't touch. And this is something that Dr. John Demartini talks about is no matter whether you're an entrepreneur or not, when we have a certain level of certainty and security, then we tend to dwell less on scarcity. We tend to be able to fight off tough times without really getting stressed. And so I take 10% of every dollar that I make, and I'm just holding it. So I've got percentages that are going away to buy my first house, percentages for real estate investment income, and then I have a percentage out of that that's going back into my retirement account. I have a percentage, 10%, that goes to travel, and then I have a psychological account. So personally, I'm saving almost 40%. Now, I didn't start that way. I started with just 10%. Now, for you, what I invite you to consider is, based off of what your own highest values are, then what are the things that excite you about saving? See, money even takes on a new meaning. You can even work a job you don't really want to if you know that it's short term and you know you can put 50, 60, 70% of that day's work into a travel account or into getting your own business off the ground so you don't have to work like that anymore, or putting money away for your nephew or your child or whatever the case may be. So first, based off of your core values, decide on some percentages. Now, I invite you to consider doing 10%. Now, if that is exceptionally scary to you, commit to a figure, whether it's $50 or $100, and then every month, as it starts to get easier, you can start to grow it. So you might have a travel account, you might have a retirement account, you might have saving for your first house. There might be 2 or 3 places that you're saving for, but at least you have a clear idea and you can slowly start chipping away at that. And what you'll find is it'll go from you saving $100 a month or $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month to that number or percentage, whatever it is, slowly doubling and tripling and quadrupling. And that's what happened to me. And slowly that will start to happen to you. Number 3, the worst that happens is you have the money in your own bank account, right? You probably are listening to this, and this is the same thing that happened to me. I heard forever. Start saving, start taking a percentage of everything that you make and pay yourself first. But what I would end up doing every time is hearing it but never doing it, thinking, well, I don't make enough money, or I have a lot of expenses, there's nothing left over, and I'd come up with every excuse in the book as to why I'm not doing it. But every time you have an excuse like that, you're actually self-sabotaging your own freedom. Because let's face it, money equals freedom and money equals options. And if you're not putting any away, paying yourself first, putting your money towards your highest values, 1, it's going to be very hard to live your highest values on a continuous basis. 2, you're going to be continuously stuck in potential money-making and job opportunities that you don't even like. And 3, you're self-sabotaging yourself because you're going to stay stuck where you are no matter what, and you're relying on hopefully lucky some way I get out of this situation. So the worst thing that's ever going to happen is you're going to have the money in your own bank account. So if you end up needing it to pay rent or to pay your mortgage or to some emergency or to pay your car bill or whatever the case may be, you have the money. But then you don't need to always use it, because you start to get creative. If you know that money's put aside, then you can get creative and you say, well, how can I make it without tapping out the savings? So first, keep in mind, the money's going to be there. So don't let that stop you. Just start saving, and worst comes to worst, you're going to have the money. Number 4, don't tap your savings. Get creative. Right? So what's going to happen is you're going to put away your first $100. You'll get to $50, or you might get to $50,000, depending on the relative amount of money that you make and how much you can actually put aside. But what's going to happen is there's a high chance something will come up in your life, and you'll find it to be a good idea to use your savings for something. And what I'm inviting you to do is to really challenge yourself to get creative. Take a stand here. This is your life. And most people spend their whole lives stuck at jobs they don't want to be at, or they get to a retirement age, or something else comes up in their life and they don't want to be at the job anymore, but they have to stay at it because they never had foresight. They never had vision to start putting money away back in the past. So here they are in present day in a job they don't want to be in, but they don't have any capital. They've never been able to travel because they never put money away for travel. They were never able to buy their dream house, and they're stuck in a house they don't really want to live in, driving a car they don't really want to live in, going to school or having their children go to school they don't really want to live in a part of town they don't really want to be, and there's nothing they can do about it. And it's sad. So what I challenge you to do is the same thing that I felt, where I was like, okay, when I finally started saving, I was about 21 years old or 20 years old when I actually took it seriously. And then shortly thereafter, one thing comes up, two things come up, and then I'm like, okay, I should use this. I should use this. No, take a step back and say the worst thing that's gonna happen is the money is gonna be in your account. So how can you get creative today, over the next 24 or 48 hours, to create additional income? How can you plan over the next 30 days, your next month, to make an extra $200, $400, $600, $10,000, $20,000 a month, depending on obviously what your income is? How can you get creative so that you don't tap your savings? Because the problem isn't that you need to use your savings. The problem is you haven't got creative enough about how to create opportunities and create new services and products, or how to create additional income for yourself. And when you start to practice that skill, it slowly and slowly becomes a mental muscle, because we're not used to thinking like that. Our brain is programmed to just get in reaction mode and spend whatever money we have. But if you can get creative, you put yourself in a position to, over the course of 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, man, your savings really starts to grow. Your confidence, your self-esteem, your freedom, your choices in life really start to grow. And when you have that type of belief in yourself, you create amazing opportunities in life. And number 5, remember, every time you save money and you stick to that, you actually start to make more money. Now, I don't know how to explain it any other way than that, and you just have to experience it for yourself. So I'm just asking you, experience for yourself. It is the craziest thing. Any very wealthy person will tell you. And it always would start to surprise me as I slowly am starting to build a level of security and a level of freedom for myself. Every time I challenge myself by saving more, I seem to make more. But in my head, I'm like, oh, no, you can't do that. Look at, nope, there's less money in your checking account now. No, you don't know. What if nothing comes in for the next 2 weeks? Right? That voice in your head. But if you want to create freedom for yourself and you want to start to build a financial nest egg, you gotta start to differentiate that little crazy voice from your true calling and what you want to create in life. And when you step away from that fear and you start to step into your heart and you say, hey, I can do this, what you'll find is slowly the money will start piling up. This new opportunity comes out of nowhere. Heck, I even started doing this with my fiance. I said, hey, why don't you start saving more? Why don't you start doing this? And she started over the last 3 months. Every month she's made more money than she's ever made in her entire life. It's the weirdest thing. We're like, well, you should save more. You'll probably make more money. These are numbers she never thought she would have hit even a year ago. And she can really only boil it down to having courage and starting to put money away. And the result is more opportunities come. So just try it out for me. See this amazing power of money, of wealth, of freedom building. When you start to build energy, the energy multiplies. In this case, when you start to put the money away, you will see it multiply. So in this video, you learned 5 ways that you can start saving now and set yourself up to actually live the life you dream of, whether it's traveling or starting your own business or putting your kids through school or living in a better house or having a different car or to provide for your favorite charities or for other friends or family members. It doesn't matter. Money can be your vehicle if you start to not give in to all the fear and all these emotions that our society taps into to try to get us to impulsively spend. We're so worried, well, what if this payment goes in a day late, and oh, I really need this thing, and we just don't look past, what do I really want to create? What do you really want to create over the next 2 years or 3 years? Where would you want to travel? Where would you want to live? Well, whatever the answer to all of these questions about your dream life is, you can actually create it for yourself. You can create it for yourself if you start to save. So start small and then see that you're actually capable of a lot more than you think. Notice how what's going to happen is you're going to have new creative ideas to make more money, to serve more people, to live exciting life. And what's going to happen is as you start to let that money multiply, you're going to find you're going to actually make a lot more. What do they say? It takes money to make money. Kind of a weird analogy, but if you actually look at it in the perspective of this, It takes money to save money. When you see your money saved, it'll actually start to grow. I promise you, you'll be amazed. And the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to have the money in your bank account if you really have to use it. This is Jake Ducey from JakeDucey.com. Keep me in the loop as you start to build some new levels of freedom, as you start to grow your savings, your investments, even more than you've ever done before. Be sure to press the subscribe button. Comment in your favorite part. Below, I've got a free success hypnosis that you can start to use to program your subconscious mind. It's an instant free download. It's right there. Grab that, subscribe. Thanks for being here. See you on the next video.